A stunning new set of details have emerged. And before I even give you any details, it has to do with Elon Musk and some other folks. Let me just remind you of this little clip during a Tucker Carlson interview back during the campaign between Kamala and Donald.
I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, what happened to that? They used that as a political tool so much, and now they're going, how dare you? Not Elon so much, because I know he said that thing about Trump, but now he's besties with Trump again. But you have so many defenders of Trump going, I want Epstein information to be released, but I just don't like that Democrats are using this as a political tool. It's like Elon randomly tried to connect Kamala in a weird transitive property sort of way to Epstein. That's how they would use it. And it's, if Kamala loses, then the Epstein client list will be revealed. That's the conversation that they were having. Well, as we get more information, kudos, oversight Democrats have made this public. We learned that, and this is not allegations of specific crimes or anything, just to be very clear, of course, but just further being disturbed by just how in the inner circles of influence Jeffrey Epstein was, including Musk, Peter Thiel, and Steve Bannon. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Steve Bannon are all named in copies of Jeffrey Epstein's daily schedules released Friday by Democrats. Now, here's a problem I have, because I've told you I'm very clear about not doing this guilt by association thing until you have just cause to at least have a justification for judgment because of the time, how late in the game some of these people were still associating with Epstein. The schedules make reference to Musk possibly flying to an island. We don't know which island, just an island. Maybe it was the Galapagos, I don't know, in 2014. And Thiel and Bannon apparently dining with Epstein as recently as 2017 and 2019. So 2014, to me, I get that still people didn't exactly know this, that, and Epstein had all these powerful friends and associates, and you're not going to say all of those people did something wrong, or even that they all knew, but like the sweetheart agreement that was made that allowed Epstein to get away with this for so long, thus the first time prosecution or the potential of it was brought against him was 2006. And so 2014, they're saying, is the Musk Epstein island or an island trip still happening? Which was the specific notes here. And again, the biggest takeaway is, from all you can tell here, is just a yet another reminder of how the percentage of powerful people who had some association, friendship with him, met with him. He really was running in all the most powerful circles. And that's why it's so important to get clarity on who just, I didn't take it seriously enough, the allegations I'd heard swirling, and I just was trying to do a business deal. Decipher those people from anyone who could have been involved. That's why full transparency is necessary that the Trump White House is currently blocking. So this is the schedule, daily schedule. This is Monday, November 27th, 2017. That's where Reed Weingarten, breakfast, Peter Thiel, lunch, different things, no other names on that sheet. And then this is Saturday, February 16th, 2019, 7 a.m. breakfast with Steve Bannon. Or 2019. 2019! Steve Bannon, breakfast. That was... now I feel like I'm going crazy. Is my timeline off? How would they not have known? 9 a.m. breakfast, Reed Weingarten. Also, Bannon did that documentary. You remember? He was doing a documentary with Epstein, never released the footage. Weird. Then this is the one with Elon Musk. This is 2014, Saturday, December 6th, 2014. Yeah, can you look up when Epstein was prosecuted the second time? reminder, it's written in this schedule. Elon Musk to island December 6th. Is this still happening? Okay, so I'm going to be curious. And party with Bill Gates is up there as well. And I do, Cole, Bill Gates, do we have anything on that?
Well, he's dead, so.
He's dead. Why are we talking about him? You know, it's weird. And then something else here, passenger manifest, Prince Andrew on this passenger manifest. So this was released. You can see here, oversight Democrats are fighting for transparency. The Epstein files, no matter who's involved, Democrat or Republican. As we continue to go through the 8,500 documents we received, here are pages naming Bill Clinton and Larry Summers. The Clinton document was already public. So again, we know about those associations. And we'll just look here, scroll down, Larry Summers. I'm not seeing, it must be on the other page. But I really credit them with saying, and among the names of people he's meeting with and friendly with, you have a Democrats on that list as well, and they're not making any qualms about being transparent about that as well, which, as we heard the DOJ official accidentally say to someone when he thought he was on a hinge date, the Trump administration was specifically trying to protect Republican names but leave more liberal names. Jeffrey Epstein was prosecuted by federal authorities in New York for sex trafficking of minors in July 2019. His second major prosecution, he was arrested July 6th, 2019. So let me just, that's 2019. This one was 2019. And maybe Steve Bannon was doing a breakfast to say, hey, you suck. I don't know. Saturday, February 16th. Okay, so February and then July. The public knew, right? Am I going crazy? And I don't know. I guess, Jaden, you sent me this article. The SpaceX flight attendant said Elon Musk exposed himself. This is different. This is about just sexual harassment from an adult that was filed. I'm not familiar with this. Let's see. The SpaceX, the aerospace firm founded by Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest man, paid a flight attendant $250,000 to settle sexual misconduct claim against Musk in 2018. The attendant worked as a member of the cabin crew on a contract base for SpaceX's corporate jet flight. She accused Musk of exposing his erect penis to her, rubbing her leg without consent, and offering to buy her a horse in exchange for an erotic massage. So I did remember that story, and I think this is fair to say, there's no allegations of misconduct in these Epstein documents that I've seen thus far against Elon. But if we're trying to understand, does he have any track record? There is a story of sexual harassment and I guess, yeah, is that what we call that? Misconduct of some kind. And you know, I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't seem insensitive because it sounds very gross and bad what he is alleged to have done, and he paid the person $250,000. Maybe he didn't do it. But if he were to sexually harass somebody, does anything sound more like Elon Musk than saying, I'll buy you a horse if you'll give me an erotic massage? I will buy you a horse if you'll give it. I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know. We don't know. Just pay $250,000. So that's just something that Jaden sent, but unrelated to this story. And we always try to see ways to have lightheartedness in there, but it's very serious, and I'm not just throwing around guilt by association. I'm really not. This is the call for transparency, to clarify, because it seems everyone and their dog was friends with Epstein in the powerful world. Far too late than I'm comfortable with. It wasn't way a long time ago. Really, right before he was arrested again. And so, I think the only way we can get clarity on who just turned a blind eye, which you can judge them for, and who participated. And that is a big distinction. But a part of the reason, and this is the other really important point, when we go, why is the White House trying to get Republicans to block the release? Well, as Tara Palmieri here outlined with one example, for a lot of them, It's that they feel like their name coming up, that they did this business deal, or they worked on this venture, or they flew on this flight. Even if nothing criminal took place in their case, they still see many of these senators and stuff, either they themselves or they know someone that had some association, and they feel like it's in their interest to block the release instead of just full transparency that you would imagine for any that didn't do something overtly criminal would be exculpatory.
These photos change everything we know about why the Epstein files were not released a few weeks ago when there was a vote in the Senate. It shows Senator Lisa Murkowski, a Republican from Alaska, at a forum with Ghislaine Maxwell and her husband, Scott Borgeson. You may have missed this because it was on the same day that Charlie Kirk died, but Senator Murkowski was the deciding vote not to release the Epstein files. So we wanted to understand why she would vote against this. And we spent weeks finding out exactly what her connections were to Jeffrey Epstein. And what we found was a tangled web of connections in Alaska, the senator's home state. In fact, it all comes down to power and a series of meetings and events where they talked about the Arctic Circle and they lobbied and tried to expand it, which would obviously help Alaska and Ghislaine Maxwell's husband, who was doing a lot of business, maritime business in the Arctic Circle. There's also a connection to a wealthy Murkowski donor, Alice Rogoff, who just so happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell's friend and the owner of the Alaska Dispatch. So how Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein are connected to Murkowski just pretty much explains how Washington works and why these survivors have been waiting around for so many years for answers. And maybe this holds the key as to whether or not they'll finally get the answers. It certainly explains how insidious Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's connections were to power. You can check out my latest report at tarapalmeri.com, or you can go to the link in my bio where you can read this investigative piece.
And she's been doing a bunch of really good reporting, has a bunch of personal relationships with the survivors, and she said way better than I've been trying to exactly why these stories are so important. And we can be nuanced and we can be accurate in what we're saying about who and what motivations we're prescribing to who. But it's really something we need to contend with that has spanned even beyond this administration. The way that someone so horrible was so connected, and why that has become, for years, an impediment to justice. With all that going on, Benny Johnson is doing hard-hitting reporting as always.
Hey guys, I'm here with an old friend I want you to meet, who remembers the greatest plane in American history. So many beautiful memories here. Where could we be going today? Keep the energy up. We're gonna win.
This is, you might be confused, this is not a Trump campaign official. This is an independent creator.
What's up, guys? Benny.
And as all of this is going on, he's like, hey, what's up, guys? Who remembers the sexiest plane in the world? It's like, what do you mean who remembers? Like, we forgot what Trump's plane looks like? Which, by the way, this whole plane obsession, it's a nice plane. Okay, it's a nice plane. But I have been at rallies with people before. I think we've all experienced this when we've gone to Trump rallies and Trump's coming in, he'll like fly onto the tarmac. Is it kind of a cool aesthetic? Yeah. Would I like to go to a rally, fly in on my private jet, land, and just get off and then I'm on the stage? Yeah, I would. But it was so annoying watching these Trump supporters like really have a moment, like an orgasmic moment watching Trump's plane come in, and it would be like, oh my gosh, look, it's so big. Look at his plane. It's weird. It's very culty, their obsession with Trump's plane.